Hello, darling. Excuse me, I didn't see you sitting there. Well, today we have a very important lesson. We are learning about proper fractions. So, we are very prim and proper today. You interrupted my music, my violin music, and my daily reading, but it's okay. Pish posh, we won't worry about it. Are you ready to begin, darlings? Because today we are talking about proper fractions. Delicious. I love the taste of air in the morning. So, let's talk about proper fractions. First of all, before we get into proper fractions, we need to understand what a fraction is. A fraction is a whole divided into parts. If we took let's think, a lovely little English tea muffin, which I don't think is a thing, but if we took it and divided it into several parts, we would want to make sure they were equal parts, to make sure it is all fair and all prim and all proper. Next, let's talk about our numerator and denominator. We have the numerator on top because he likes to pretend that he is the best in the land. Then we've got the denominator, slumming it down at the bottom. But it's okay. We have the numerator up top, in for north, so he is in tip-top shape. And then we have the denominator down below, the fraction bar, and he is just chilling down there. Remember, D for down, D for denominator. So let's talk about our example of a fraction. By now you're probably tired of this example, but we're going to use it again. It is a whole watermelon, and I love the taste of watermelon on a nice summer day. But we're going to divide the watermelon into halves. We're going to split it between you and me, darling. And so we want to make sure it's fair and equal parts. But we have to then think, what if we had two more guests show up unexpectedly? Very rude, I know, but sometimes it does happen. So if they pop in and we have to suddenly have to divide the watermelon into 4 pieces, can we do that? Yes, we can. We can divide a whole into however many pieces we need. But the more people we divide it between, the smaller the pieces get. Are you catching on? Yes. Because if it was just me and you, love, we could divide it between the two of us and we could just split it and it'd be wonderful. But if we have 2 more people pop in unexpectedly, we have to be hospitable and share with them. So now we've got to divide it 4 ways. But that's okay. We will still each get a little bit, but the pieces will be smaller. Now, let's talk about what is a proper fraction. That air just tastes so delicious this morning. Well, let me tell you, darling, what a proper fraction is. A proper fraction likes to follow the rules. I love to follow the rules because it means that I never get in trouble. I always am a rule follower, which means that I follow the rules of proper fractions. A proper fraction has a smaller number on top than the bottom. That is the most important rule. It means the top number never gets bigger than the bottom number. Okay, so it means that we have these fractions that are small and they make sense. They are perfect. They are proper and they never break the rules. So for example, I have this lovely fraction here, 1/2. That's not how we say it. We read this as 1/2. And then we think the 1 on top is smaller than the 2 on the bottom. And that is the rule. The top number is smaller than the number on the bottom. Then I have this fraction. And how would you say this fraction? Well, you read the top number like a normal number, and then you read the bottom number like a grade level. So we've got 2/3. 2/3, excellent, darlings. The only time we don't read it like a grade level is when 2 is the denominator, because that is our halves. And you don't want to say 1/2 because then you'll just sound crazy. No one will understand you, darling. So we have 1/2, 2/3. Then we have this next fraction, which is 1 on top, 4 on the bottom. It is 1/4. Excellent. Yes, you're catching on. Very good. Let's try the next one. You're on your own for this. How would you say this, darling? If you said 7/8, you are correct. You read the top like the regular number, and then you read the bottom just like a grade level. So we have 7/8. Perfect. Let's talk about what is not a proper fraction. A fraction that has more on top than the bottom. That is not a proper fraction. And we're going to be talking more about this later on. And also, I have terrible news for you, darling, but 5/5, if the number is the same on top and the bottom, it is also not a proper fraction because it is then a whole. So we have these things. We have a proper fraction, we have a whole, and then we have a not proper fraction. And these right here, these are examples of not proper. They are not following the rules, and I don't like that very much. Now, I'm sorry, but next week I'm going to have to meet my cousin, the improper fraction. And let me just tell you now, darling, she's a piece of work. She's just a little cuckoo in the head, if you know what I mean. So, today we are talking about the not proper fractions. This is a not proper fraction because the number on top is the same as the number on the bottom. And that is just madness because they are not following the rule. The rule is the top needs to be smaller than the bottom. Here, I cannot even look at this number. It just disgusts me. We have 9 halves. What is 9 halves? Well, it's not a proper fraction, I'll tell you that right now. It's not following the rule because the top is much bigger than the bottom. It's top heavy, and we don't want that. We don't want the fraction falling over. No, they're not following the rules. This next fraction is about to make me lose my mind. 12/8? What is that? That's crazy. Blimey, I don't even know. 12/8? Goodness me, that's not a proper fraction. That's an improper fraction. And then we have 4/3. It's so close. It wants to be a proper fraction so bad, but it didn't follow the rule. So none of these are proper fractions. These are all improper fractions or a whole. We'll talk more about it next week. Don't worry, love. But like I said, I'm warning you now. My cousin, the improper fraction, she's a real piece of work, so I'm sorry about that. Let's talk about these proper fractions. All of these are proper fractions. So let's figure out how we would write this proper fraction, shall we? Well, we have to count up the bottom number first to find the total. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is our total, so that's going to be our denominator. Next, we're going to count how many are shaded in. That's going to be our numerator. All right, let's count those together, love. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 on top and 8 on the bottom. It is a perfect proper fraction because it is following the rule. 7 is smaller than 8. It's not that hard to be a proper fraction. All you have to do is follow the one rule, which is be less on top, more on the bottom. We want it to make sense. 7/8 makes sense. It's a normal fraction. That's all there is to it. All right, let's do one more together, and then we'll be done with proper fractions. And then I will catch you later. All right, this proper fraction is a little bit different. It's not a rectangle, it's a circle. And I just love the circles because I think they're so beautiful. So let's count the total to find the denominator. All right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 as our denominator because 8 is the total, love. So 8 is our total. It's our denominator. Remember, the denominator goes down below the fraction bar, and it is our total. Next, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pink shaded sections. So we have 6 on top because that is our numerator and 8 on the bottom. And the way we would read this fraction is 6/8. And we know this is proper because the top number is smaller than the bottom number. It's not that hard, is it, love? No, I think you've got it. Let me know if you need any help, and good luck today, guys. Goodbye.